morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this very exciting segment today on the 7th day of March. Apologies for the late start. The computer decided to update its software. Well, what a time. Anyway, right now let's get on moving. Let's first of all take a look at some extreme weather conditions.
Some warnings on this morning through Tasmania, Victoria, up into southern New South Wales. We've got damaging winds gusting to 100 kilometres an hour, perhaps in excess even. It's all thanks to some frontal systems that are coming through the southeast at the moment. Meanwhile, up north in Queensland, that low pressure system that flooded the territory over the last week or so is now causing heavy rainfall there in that state, and it's likely to continue for days. And in between the two, well, we've got some heat and extreme fire danger with total fire bans on in New South Wales, and that's going to be one of the focuses for today. And let's get more on those conditions there, because there are fires burning and they are of concern. Ariana Levy at RFS headquarters for us this morning. Ari, you've been chatting with the firefighters. What's the latest?
Good morning, Nate. Well, despite those easing fire conditions that we've seen overnight, the main concern for firefighters this morning are those rising daytime temperatures, as you mentioned, for much of the Tambaroora area, which is still currently burning. They're predicting to see temperatures rise up to 28 degrees throughout the daytime today, and that could theoretically add further fuel to the flame. Now, Tambaroora still remains at a watch and act level. It's about 3.5 hours west of Sydney, a little bit north of Hill End, and firefighters last night had worked tirelessly to protect many properties along Alpha Road right through to Hill End Road. Hill End Road, however, does still remain closed between Hargraves right through to Turondale Road as well. There's still a number of total fire bans that remain in place for much of the state. There's 2 extreme fire danger warnings right now for 2 regions, including the Greater Hunter and the Central West, as you probably mentioned just before. But from what we understand, authorities are particularly concerned as there's much vegetation growth around the area. In the fires that led up to the 2019 blaze, there was quite a drought-like conditions that we experienced here in New South Wales, but the weather conditions have completely changed the landscape of the environment. We've seen quite a lot of vegetation growth, and that's going to be quite a challenge for firefighters today as they battle through that. There's quite a bit of fuel on the ground. So the RFS advice that we've received today is that everyone should be staying up to date on the website. Make sure you monitor for conditions, but it does look like for now the fire front and fire conditions will get a lot worse before they get better.
Total fire bans really must be respected in these kind of conditions. Ari, thank you. Team, more wild weather ahead.
And more wild weather ahead, and as you mentioned as well, that the in extreme fire danger conditions, those warnings need to be heeded to, and never take things for granted. Always reach for safety first. Well, right now, looking at the housing sector, as we know, Queensland had a steep rise in house prices, and then the interest rate, which put a sort of a cap on the trading, but that has left a short supply of investment properties. With supply being short, the rent increases have been very steep right here in Queensland. Here's that report.
Today I'm in Ipswich. It's about 40 kilometres west of Brisbane, and this is one of the fastest growing regions in Queensland, and all that growth is having a real impact on the rental market here.
G'day.
Hey Mitch.
Nice to meet you.
How are you, mate?
Yeah, very good, thank you.
So this one has just recently been rented?
Yes, we've just leased this one out to a young couple. They're very excited to be moving in. In the peak of it, we were getting 30 to 40, 50 groups of people turning up to viewings. People here early, we'd turn up 20 minutes early, and we'd already had 30 groups of people through the property. So you can use that as a little bit of a breakfast dining.
Ipswich has always been a place that families love to come to. We have a great sense of community, but also affordable lifestyle. So our vacancy rates are still on the 0.6%, so very low vacancy rates.
Laundry separate, which is a big plus. And then
You were telling me before, you've had people that have been coming to these viewings that are saying that they're living in their cars. I mean, that's got to be tough to deal with.
it is, especially when they turn up, oh, here's a potentially great tenant, and then they say to you, we're in a caravan or we're in our car or we're couch surfing with friends at the moment, and it does blow your mind sometimes, especially when you think, wow, that's the last thing I expected.
In 2018, on average, a rental property in Ipswich would set you back $377 per week. For the same property, it has now jumped to $510 per week, rising 15% in the last 12 months alone.
Oh, it's been, it's ridiculous. Can hardly, afford rent or anything, so no, it's bad.
Yeah, my rent has gone up, but I've been very, very lucky. I've got a long-term rental and a great landlord, and it's a private rental, so I'm pretty lucky. My daughter, not so much. She's had to have a storage rental in an interim period because she couldn't get something in time before her lease finished.
My partner and I, we've been together a few years and we'd love to save and buy a house. We live kind of rurally of Ipswich, so we'd love to save, but it's kind of getting a little bit harder just with the price of everything going up.
The population of Ipswich is absolutely booming. In fact, between the years 2021 and 2022, more than 50,000 people moved here. It's predicted by the year 2041, more than 500,000 people will be calling Ipswich home.
In fact, it's one of the fastest growing areas in Australia, let alone Queensland. So we are seeing a lot of population coming into this neck of the woods against arguably not enough supply, which is one of the reasons why we're seeing housing conditions, both from a value and a rental perspective, extraordinarily strong.
Certainly, as part of the 2017 South East Queensland Region Plan, Ipswich is slated to take in 30% of that population growth. So we have a lot of development available. The only thing that's holding it back is that trunk infrastructure. So we do need the state and the federal governments to build that trunk infrastructure and that public transport to unlock that housing stock for people.
We are now seeing groups of people coming through that are both employed, moving from, say, Brisbane or interstate. So it is changing a little bit with higher income people moving into the CBD centre.
Well, Ipswich is all set to boom there by the looks of things. Well, it's a long time coming, but it's all happening. But many times you need to respect our residents who have been there for a long time. Many times it's a bit of a culture shock, a change for them, adjusting to all the new people coming in, but they're very resilient. They do welcome them in. Well, right now, in today's day and age, lack of computer skills, right? Many people are self-taught, just, like me, many people would be self-taught in the computer skills, but the lack of computer skills is costing businesses billions.
What sort of skills are we talking about here that businesses are lacking?
Lots of different skills, Madeline. New research today demonstrating the severity of the digital skills gap. It's everything from artificial intelligence and machine learning skills, data analytics, cybersecurity skills, but it's also just lots of common everyday digital skills that workers need in 2023 in their jobs. Just think about people in social work, using online apps for rostering, people in transport and warehousing who might need to use an inventory management tool. So while there are some really high-end digital skills that are needed, there's lots that are needed just for everyday jobs as well.
Yeah, I think that's what's really interesting about this research is that you talk about digital skills, you might think of the IT specialist, but that's really not so much what you're focusing on here. All of us need to improve our digital literacy and in really small incremental ways, yet we don't seem to be doing that.
No, we're not, and it hasn't actually, the digital skills gap, Madeline, hasn't improved in the last 12 months, despite the opening of borders. And what the research demonstrates is that if businesses are to invest more in digital skills gap, we put the figure at an extra $1.5 billion, we can help close that gap. But it's not everybody going back and studying a PhD in data science, just lots of short online courses can help close some of those digital skills gaps and make workers ready for 2023 and beyond.
Yeah, look, I will fully admit when I get those training reminders come up, I tend to roll my eyes, and it seems to be that's the experience of a lot of people as well. They cite lack of time as being a real problem here.
That's the biggest barrier that workers face. While there are costs of digital training, we find that that's only a very modest proportion of business revenue. It would be less than 1% to invest in these skills to close the digital skills gap. Businesses need to create a culture of learning inside their organisation so that people have the time in order to study. And there are benefits for the employees too. In the last 12 months, employees who were promoted spent 50% more time training than those who didn't. So for those people who are looking for a pay increase, doing some digital training can be the way to get there.
Yeah, and just finally, you don't necessarily have to spend a huge amount of money as a business doing this. I know that lots of libraries, for example, have free courses in some basic digital skills that people can actually tap into.
That's right. For the individual employees, lots of options available. Consider, Madeline, over the last 5 years, the growth of online training as well, whereas 5 years ago it was 20% of courses delivered online. Now it's over 50%. So a lot more free options available for people. It's very important for the small business sector as well. They can't always go out and just hire the top talent or have the funds available. So hiring from within can be a really good opportunity for businesses, and it can help grow the Australian economy as well.
Well, there you are, digital upskilling, which is very, very important. Well, online learning is good if you know about computers in the first place, because you'll have to maneuver around the menus and do all the things that need to be done to learn online. So to get online and start using the e-services or e-learning, you need to have some basic computer skills in the first place. Food for thought. Well, right now it's time to go to our daily India report. With that, let's welcome Simran.
Welcome to the Daily India Report, which brings you reports, interviews, features and more on India and the Indian diaspora. Nagaland Chief Minister Neiphiu Rio is all set to take the oath of office on March 7th after a meeting with the BJP central leadership. Northeast Democratic Alliance convener and Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma, along with NDPP leader and incumbent Nagaland Chief Minister Neiphiu Rio, met BJP central leaders in New Delhi on March 5th to discuss the formation of the new government in the state. The meeting held at Union Minister Amit Shah's residence was attended by BJP National President JP Nadda, NDPP President Chingwang Konyak, NDPP Secretary General Abu Mehta, and NDPP Senior Vice President Rusumtong Longkumar. Sarma announced via a tweet that Rio met Shah and Nadda and expressed his gratitude for their support during Nagaland Assembly polls. Sarma added that Rio further invited both leaders to his oath-taking ceremony on 7th March. Rio will stake claim to form the new government on March 6th after a joint meeting of NDPP and BJP. In Tripura, where the BJP-IPFT alliance logged a landslide victory, internal party deliberations are underway to form a new government. However, the legislature party meeting has not been convened yet to elect the legislative party leader. The meeting of the BJP's legislature party will decide on the new council of ministers and the chief minister. They will take the oath of office on 8th of March in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. BJP is yet to finalize the chief minister. Sources said the meeting to be held on March 5th did not take place due to internal preparations. The meeting was not convened. NEDA convener and Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma arrived in Agartala and is expected to chair a series of meetings with the BJP leadership on the formation of the government and on the allocation of departments to the ministers. The Indian Navy has successfully test-fired its ship-launch version of the BrahMos, supersonic missile designed by India's Defence Research and Development Organisation. The Indian Navy on March 5th successfully test-fired in the Arabian Sea the ship-launch version of the BrahMos supersonic missile. The missile tested had the indigenous seeker and booster. According to military officials, the Indian Navy carried out a successful precision strike in the Arabian Sea by ship-launched BrahMos missile with DRDO-designed indigenous seeker and booster, reinforcing their commitment towards self-reliance in defence. BrahMos Aerospace Private Limited, an India-Russian joint venture, produces supersonic cruise missiles that can be launched from submarines, ships, aircraft or land platforms. The BrahMos missile flies at a speed of 2.8 Mach, or almost 3 times the speed of sound. The anti-ship version of the supersonic cruise missile was successfully test-fired jointly by the Indian Navy and the Andaman and Nicobar Command in April last year. India has now also started exporting the BrahMos missiles. India sealed a US $375 million deal with the Philippines for supplying 3 batteries for the missile in January 2022. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has congratulated Mohammad Shahbuddin on his election as President of Bangladesh. Modi hoped that under President Shahbuddin, the relationship between the two countries will grow. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated President-elect of Bangladesh Mohammad Shahbuddin on his election as President of Bangladesh. In a letter sent to President-elect Mohammad Shahbuddin, Modi recalled his contribution as a freedom fighter and experience as a jurist, saying it will contribute great value to this high office. Calling the relationship between India and Bangladesh as firmly rooted in shared sacrifices, Prime Minister Modi said that this relationship has been nurtured by the vibrant culture and people-to-people ties between the two countries. He further said that as a close friend to Bangladesh, India remains steadfast in its commitment to further deepen the multifaceted partnership for the benefit of the people of both the countries. Prime Minister Modi, in his letter to President-elect Mohammad Shahbuddin, expressed confidence that under your leadership, our engagement will grow from strength to strength. Indian-American Neil Mohan is expected to be appointed as the next Chief Executive Officer of YouTube, after Suzanne Wojcicki announced her resignation. Indian-American Neil Mohan will be the next Chief Executive Officer of YouTube, after Suzanne Wojcicki announced her resignation. Taking to Twitter, YouTube creators informed about Wojcicki's resignation and thanked her for contributing to the online video sharing platform. Neil Mohan is currently the Chief Product Officer of YouTube. Before joining YouTube, Mohan was a Senior Vice President, Display and Video Ads at Google. In a blog post, Wojcicki said that she will focus on her passion for family, health and personal projects. Gautam Adani's conglomerate Adani Group has sold minority stakes to US-based GQG partners in a bid to shore up liquidity ahead of the US $2 billion debt repayment deadline. The embattled Adani Group has sold minority stakes in 4 of its listed companies to US-based GQG partners for 15,446 crore rupees. As the conglomerate, recovering from a sell-off triggered by a short seller report, looks to shore up liquidity ahead of US $2 billion debt repayment due in the coming months. The group sold shares in flagship firm Adani Enterprises Limited, port company Adani Ports and Special Economic Zone Limited, electricity transmitting firm Adani Transmission Limited and renewable energy firm Adani Green Energy Limited. The group, in a statement, said, GQG is investing in Adani portfolio companies which own and operate the largest airport and port platform in India, largest private sector transmission and distribution platform in India, that will generate about 9% of India's renewable energy capacity by 2030. It added, the investment has made GQG a key investor in the development and growth of critical Indian infrastructure. The share sale is part of the Gautam Adani-led group's comeback strategy after a report from an American short seller wiped out more than US $140 billion of the conglomerate's market value. The group has a gross debt of 2.21 lakh crore rupees, about 8% of which is due for repayment by the end of the next fiscal year. The Adani Group stocks recovered amid reports that the group will hold fixed income roadshows in this month of March 2023 in London, Dubai, and several cities in the United States. The conglomerate is trying to boost investor confidence. Shares of Adani Enterprises Limited jumped 9.77% to Rs 2,063 on BSE. Adani Power shares hit its 5% upper circuit limit at Rs 177.90. Adani Transmission hit its upper circuit limit at Rs 780.90. Adani Green also hit its 5% upper circuit limit at Rs 590.10. Adani Total Gas also climbed 5% to Rs 820.90. Adani Wilmar hit its 5% upper circuit limit at Rs 439.20. NDTV also hit its upper circuit limit and was trading at Rs 231.10 during the day. Foreign portfolio investors have invested more than 9,400 crore rupees in the Indian capital market in the first week of March 2023. Foreign portfolio investors pumped more than 9,400 crore rupees into the Indian capital markets in March 2023. FPIs invested 8,939 crore rupees in the equities market, 380 crore rupees in the debt market and 156 crore rupees in the voluntary retention route of the debt market. On the other hand, FPIs pulled 48 crore rupees from the hybrid market, taking the total net inflow in the Indian capital markets to 9,427 crore rupees in the first 3 days of March. Prior to this, FPIs had pulled 4,139 crore rupees in February and 26,544 crore rupees in January 2023 from the Indian capital market. Days before the release, the producers of the film Tu Jhoothi Main Makkaar released a fourth track of the film titled O Bedardya. The fourth track from Ranbir Kapoor and Shraddha Kapoor's upcoming film Tu Jhoothi Main Makkaar has been released. The song titled O Bedardya is crooned by Arijit Singh. In the music video, Ranbir and Shraddha's characters are drowning in melancholy, and sadness can be felt in their eyes. Arijit Singh's vocals and Ranbir Shraddha's intense chemistry are very moving. The song appears to depict a couple's final moments together before a breakup. The music of the song is given by Pritam and the lyrics are by Amitabh Bhattacharya. The producers had earlier released the songs Tere Pyar Mein, Pyar Hota Kai Baar Hai, and Show Me the Dhumka. Tu Jhoothi Main Makkaar marks the first collaboration between Shraddha, Ranbir and Love. The film also stars Dimple Kapadia, Boney Kapoor, Anubhav Singh Bassi, Monica Chaudhary and Hasleen Kaur, among others, and will release in theatres on March 8th. In breaking news today, Bollywood megastar Amitabh Bachchan suffered a muscle tear to his right rib cage while shooting for film Project K in Hyderabad. The 80-year-old star revealed he has been injured in a blog post, saying that his rib cartilage popped on set while filming an action shot. He received medical care in Hyderabad and is now recovering at his home in Mumbai. He revealed that he is mobile only for essential activities, but otherwise resting. That's all for this bulletin of the Daily India Report.
And thank you very much, Simran, for that report. And we wish Amitabh ji a very, very speedy recovery. And I can relate to that tear myself. I'm going through something similar myself. Having pulled a muscle. Well, right now moving on, it's time to say goodbye until tomorrow. We will see you then, and as I mentioned before, that right now at this point in time we are not having all the events and functions happening at the moment, but we will be resuming that segment very, very soon. Hi, it's always wonderful to see you and have your company. Enjoy the rest of your day. Until tomorrow, it's goodbye from us.